What's up? What's going on? Thank you guys for tuning in to Boss Moves, the podcast, where we pretty much talk about everything and anything up under the sun. But primarily, we talk about entrepreneurship and what it's like to be an entrepreneur in today's society. As you guys can see, I have with me today a special guest. He's actually my brother-in-law, and he's somebody that's doing and going to be doing big things here in the near future. So this is Shad Blanton, and I'm gonna actually let him pretty much introduce himself to you guys and just pretty much what he is doing now and what he plans to do in the future, and I'm gonna let him take it away.
I'm Shad Blanton. I'm from Forest City, North Carolina. Do a lot of different things. I'm a father, I'm a student, I'm a teacher.
That's what's up, that's what's up. So obviously, you know, you came up playing ball, and essentially that this is what this interview is essentially about. Like I said, we talk about entrepreneurship, but what I wanna try to do is more so incorporate or pretty much ask you, how did basketball, you know, get you to where you are today, and to actually help you get to a point to where it's like you incorporate a lot of different things from basketball into your entrepreneur journey?
Okay, so with basketball has helped me get into most of the doors that I walk through, whether that be through travel ball or, you know, starting to meet coaches and have opportunities for different AAU teams, to that lead into college coaches and so forth. So basketball has always been the way to get me to the next step, whether that be, you know, even more networking connections and just opportunities, jobs. You know, I met all kind of people from a lot of different places. So yeah, just networking.
From an entrepreneur standpoint, you know, we talk about basketball. Were you able to do anything beyond high school as far as with basketball? Were you able to take, you know, your talents overseas, or, you know, what were you able to do in that regard?
Yeah, so high school I wasn't, you know, heavily recruited at all. You know that, you know, playing from here, but found out about 16 that college ball was a possibility for me. So any level was, you know, pleasing for me. I just wanted to get a step in the door. That was my goal. So from high school, I had a couple small offers, NAIA, a couple interests from NCAA D2s, but I ended up going to Combine Academy. From there, I ended up getting a scholarship to Moberly area, community college in Moberly, Missouri.
Yeah.
You know, I went through the injury spell, some people call it.
I know how that is. I went through the same thing too.
Yeah, so a couple years bouncing around there, and I thought I was done playing ball, bro. Ended up getting a scholarship well, actually I was leaving App State, and the coach told me to stop by and work out at Montreat. And I stopped by Montreat. I worked out went pretty well. Ended up getting a scholarship offer there, so my dreams were alive a little longer. So kept playing there, made a couple mistakes, ended up being dismissed from there. You know, I kept grinding, trying to figure it out. Finished up my bachelor's degree at Brevard College here in North Carolina as well. From previous connections, I had a couple agents and coaches reach out before I had got in trouble, you know. So a couple of them had reached out, like, you know, are you back focused? Are you back playing ball? Like, what are you doing? I told them I was locked in, but I wasn't as locked in as I could be.
Yeah.
But they offered a couple opportunities that were available to me and got me back on track. So.
And this was when you say offered a couple opportunities after the Montreat incident. What was that?
That was about 2019.
Okay. And this, what I'm saying is, this was to go. Was it to get back into Montreat, or was it to?
Nah, I was pretty much done with Montreat at that time. So I was just looking for another opportunity, whether it be, I really didn't want to just go to school and be a student, just to finish my degree, just because, I don't know, I feel like playing sports made it more interesting, more like, I guess, motivational, you know?
And so we talk about with your degree. When you got your degree, you said from Brevard, what was your degree in?
Exercise science.
Exercise science.
Yeah.
And so what was your initial plan with that? What did you want to do with the exercise science bachelor's degree?
Always something with basketball or sports. You know, I was working in the training room. That was my work study job. So, you know, taping to STEM to ultrasound to scraping, you know, that's what I was looking more at, the physical therapy side.
Yeah.
And then as I finished up, I started training, you know, kids throughout, and, you know, I was looking for that route. So anything with training and sports, you know. Didn't have it all figured out, but something with sports.
So, I mean, essentially after school, once you got your degree, once you were done playing ball, college, what was kind of your thought process then in terms of kind of what you want to do and what you wanted to pursue?
I was kind of everywhere, man. Really undecided. You know, my senior years when I lost my pops, so I didn't even know how to live anymore. I had to learn how to live again, you know. And then after growing past that, helped me decide what the next steps was. And, you know, the mobile app ideas was always in the back of my head for, you know, almost a decade at that point.
Right.
Of course, careers, but something with ball. I know I wasn't done playing ball at that time.
Right.
Just because I needed that therapy after losing him, and when the next opportunity called for Bournemouth University from an agent in England,
Right.
I took a jump at it. You know, gave me an opportunity to get my master's degree, also continue playing ball. So
Right.
that was a no-brainer for me. I was choosing between, you know, a few different things. I ended up choosing information technology, and I still don't know if I'm gonna, you know, pursue that in the future on a big time scale. You know, I've been offered some opportunities locally, even now for tech, but the main reason was to learn some of the background and make some of the connections to bring this app to life. That was my full purpose, but I knew I needed to leave my, you know, my natural, you know, habitat,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
had to leave. So that was the full reason, and really. Basketball was just a plus to be able to, you know, move again.
Well, I mean, it seems like you've, you know, essentially made some of the right decisions in terms of doing that because you were able to accomplish some things. And even from the standpoint of even just generating these ideas and just being amongst people, other people that are motivated and, you know, essentially able to push you, you know what I mean, to continue to just, you know, reach your goals. So yeah, that's definitely important stuff. Now, I do know, and we've spoken about this off camera, but I do know that there was a stint of time where before you actually pursued to go overseas to pursue your master's degree, this is more so when you kind of started your endeavors in terms of entrepreneurship, right? Mm-hmm. So tell us a little bit about that.
So right around the time he passed, I had the ideas for the app, and I was trying to figure out how I could just get a start in that direction. So I developed the brand 333 Lives.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And from 333 Lives, I knew I needed to push this brand for the final message that I didn't know how long it would take. I still don't know exactly, but we're getting closer. But decided to open a brick and mortar store in Rutherford County here.
Okay.
It was going good, you know, sneaker cleaning, restoring, vintage, also my own 333 Lives brand. But ran that for about 6 to 8 months, and I just didn't feel the love here anymore, bro. I had to get away for a while. From there, I actually had found out from a close friend of mine, another agent, there was an opportunity going on in El Salvador. So I went out there I shut the store down about December, and I just prepared to leave. I just didn't want to really do that at the moment. You know, I needed to get away and clear my head, and sitting at a store, you know, just working just in this county just wasn't it for me. So I went to Salvador at that time. But that started my entrepreneurship endeavors, and has pushed me to, you know, keep going now.
Yeah. Now you talk about your, you know, 333 Lives. Now that's actually LLC, right?
Yeah.
LLC and everything. So what exactly does that stand for? What's the meaning behind the 333?
So 333, 2013, my best friend Dashe passed in a car accident. You went to school with Dashe, well, rival schools, but y'all compete against each other.
Yeah.
After he passed, I just went through like a really dark phase, you know, a lot of mixed decisions. 333 I would always see it, whether it be a radio station or like just flicking through the station to see it, or whether it be on somebody's license plate or on a sign. But I would just see it and see it and see it, and it would always be in those moments that I was like, I guess you could say crushed, or like just really down and undecided.
Yeah.
You know, so I just Googled it, started like, why am I seeing this? And come to learn that it was angel numbers, and a lot of people have their own different, you know, numbers. They're all, you know, different, but repetitive numbers like that are angel numbers. And usually for like messages for like, you know, a surety, like, you know, positivity, like, you know, it's gonna be okay. And every time I started seeing those, I would put that message to my head, you know, that's Dashe, or that's, you know, whatever ancestor I got in my mind that's trying to push me forward.
Right. We talked about you having a brick and mortar store. So essentially you have a skill set. Obviously you're talking about being able to clean sneakers, restore sneakers, and you also spoke about an app, right? So as far as the app, could you break it down for us and actually explain what the app actually consists of, or what the message that you want people to get from you in terms of how you explain the app, you know, what you mean by actually creating this app?
I got to give you a small backstory on the reasoning, a little deeper. So I'll make it a brief as possible timeline. So my father being diagnosed with cancer in 2010, my grandmother passing in 2012, my best friend passing in 2013, and then my car accident in 2018. So the process to this came from just past experiences. My father getting diagnosed in 2010, I was 14. Me just thinking of all the things that he could teach me. You know, they gave him 6 months to live from that point. And at 14, being a young man with like not even half of the answers, you know what I'm saying? I would think like, how am I gonna learn this if what they're saying is gonna happen? And a lot of times he was unresponsive. So started thinking of ways in the future how that could, you know, assist. Introduced the idea to him later after he recovered. So the 333 Lives app is a broad application with many features. I'm creating it to recreate, you could say repair, relationships or create, relationships, but it's gonna have many different features. It's gonna have a time capsule data. Say like my boys, I'm gonna give you my boys for an example. My oldest just turned 4, my youngest is 1. So if I had just messages I want to leave to them, or like, memories, or, certain things about their culture. The idea really originated from my father. My grandmother left him a lot of letters, just explaining certain things that they went through, certain traumas that she knew he had encountered and would, I guess, face later in life. So she explained them and, left her last wishes. Me experiencing him, read that and it mess up, certain holidays and birthdays and things like that for him. I proposed the idea to him, like if you had a visual to that, or if you had an audio to that, maybe you would feel different about, the emotions that you're encountering.
Yeah, because normally when people leave us letters or even something simple as text messages, like a lot of times we can take that text and it hit different because people aren't necessarily there to tell us what the emotion of how they might have meant, for it to be. So I get that 100%.
Exactly. See, I always felt like you could take the message, not necessarily wrong, but worse than it could be perceived. He didn't think it was the greatest idea, so it kind of made me downish about the app for like some years to come. But after losing him and a couple other friends close by, I started thinking, I really have to create this. And from that, I started, adding features here and there. I don't really know many of my ancestors or like, grandparents or anything like that. Right. So I started thinking how it could be ways that other people going through things like I'm going through, or like even family and stuff now that's still living. How could I still create bonds and fix these relationships? So another feature is going to be a live calendar, showing availability when, I don't work these days this week. This is my availability between this time. Maybe you want to schedule a lunch or just any outing, to maybe have that conversation. But just showing availability to keep you, more intact with each other. Also, after losing my father and experiencing other things, seeing the importance of having your assets and your estate in order is very important.
100%.
A lot of toxicity comes if those things aren't, in order. So another feature is going to be the last wishes and the final will. I want to implement that and hopefully one day be able to partner with a larger company and spread that, possibly globally.
Right.
But that's very important. So the app mainly is for, just what matters. To me, this is what matters, restoring your connection with your family, understanding where you come from, your history, your family having the ability to store your culture, your history. Because I always had questions growing up. Who are we? Where do we come from? What did my grandfather do? What did my grandmother do? And having toxic relationships, being from the South with my white side of the family, I'll make it that broad. Just not knowing. I'm curious, what were they like? What did they do? Because I'm all over the place.
Exactly.
So me having all these different skills and talents, I'm like, what did my ancestors do? Where do we come from? I'm still curious. Trying to create a way to store that for the later generations to come, so they don't have all the questions that I have.
Well, it's crazy because I personally feel like that's definitely an app that we need, that society needs. I think that with what you're explaining to us, like I said, there's definitely a need for it because there's a lot of people out there that is missing, opportunities with families, conversations with families, and just those memories. And so I truly believe that the app, the idea of 333 Lives app, is definitely something that would be beneficial to society, man. So definitely keep pushing for that. Don't let nobody steer you away from, your ideas, man, because, that is something that would definitely be beneficial for everybody, not only for yourself, but like I said, for generations to come, So definitely keep pushing on that.
And another feature, I guess I would say reason to have this available also for, I would say, I got a grandmother in the nursing home right now. I got a couple of my close friends that's locked up in prison, and you never know, especially from the nursing home standpoint, you never know that timeline. So being able to document that data and also being in prison or fighting the justice system, being able to let your voice and your story be heard. Right. A lot of people have been locked away, even falsely accused, and have served a lot of years of their life. They wanted their story to be heard. What about their memories? So on to come, Right. So I feel like this would be big for nursing homes, hospitals, prisons as well. People get terminally illnesses every day, like my father. And if you're told, well, not you, but if someone's told they got 6 months to live, just think how their thought process is. If they have a child or a young teenager, or even a 20-year-old adult, right. The information you want to share to them, you can't just give it all in one delivery.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So if you could put a date on it and a time on it to be released, whether that's when they're 13 or 21, I want it to be accessible through like individual codes. If you're gonna make it like you know, private, like for your son or your daughter, but
Right.
also like a family code as well, you know, so.
Just in case. Okay. That's what's up, man. So, I mean, you know, there you have it, guys. Shad Blanton pretty much explained to you guys what he's doing currently and what he actually plans on doing in the future. Plans on doing some really great things. I think that people, especially where we're from, this should be something that people should be willing to support. And I don't know, just pretty much just stay behind, you know what I'm saying? Be behind them with this. Because, I mean, I know that me personally, I will be supporting them. Like I said, this is my brother-in-law as well, and there's nothing but support coming from me. So we just wanted to share this story with you guys today. Definitely some important information for you guys that's pertinent to a lot of people, especially where we're from. Being from a small town, like I said, we just want to thank you guys for just tuning in with us today. This is Boss Moves the podcast. If you guys like this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more, subscribe to the channel. Leave a comment in the comment section about, you know, whatever, about the app, about just any ideas that you guys may have or inventions or anything like that you guys may have or, you know, maybe even want us to talk about or whatever the case may be. So definitely do that. So yeah, just, I mean, pretty much just let the people know where they can find you at social media, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook.
Okay, yes, so everywhere. You can find me on Instagram at SniperSBFit. Obviously Facebook, Shad Blanton. My YouTube, 333 TV. So yeah, tune in.
Y'all definitely go do that. Go tap in with them.
Let me know how you feel too. Comment. Let me know how you feel about it.
Thank you guys for tuning in with us, and we'll be back in the next episode.
Thank you guys for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. If you would, please fill out the survey below for my project dissertation. I really appreciate it. Thank you.